I think this is a rare feeling to have. You play a game, you finish it for the first time, and you have that feeling that it's one of your favorite games of all time now. I don't think I've had that in like well over 10 years after playing a lot of Dreamcast games back then. But I played Dragon Quest III HD2D Remake, in this case for the Nintendo Switch. And man, I'm absolutely in love with this game. I finished it a few weeks ago. I started philosophizing about it, its position in my life, and why I loved it so much. I want to take you on a little journey, go through my talking points with you, and check out a bit of gameplay as well. I put out the Nintendo Switch 2 over here. This is what I played it on. It actually got an update, so you can play in 60 FPS on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's a free update that you can get. Dragon Quest III, I don't think we need to talk about it too much. It's my first time playing Dragon Quest III. I've never played it before. I don't think it was ever released in Europe. The Game Boy Color version may have come out, so I'm unsure about that one. And this game has rejuvenated my love for JRPGs, which has been quite down in the dumps for a while now. My main complaint with a lot of RPGs, and I just finished Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus on the Switch, I did a video about that. My main gripe with that and many other games, especially from Falcom, is that you spend more time clicking through text boxes and reading dialogue, pointless dialogue, than actually playing the game. That seems to be quite the controversial statement, because in the comments a lot of people complained, oh, okay, you expect not to have dialogue in a JRPG. Now that's not what I mean with that. I'm just going to go do some like the lowest level enemies right here with my absolutely overpowered endgame party. I beat like the post-game boss 2 times, I think, and I'm too weak to do it a 3rd time, but here we are just demolishing some slimes. So apparently it's a controversial thing to actually want to play your JRPGs instead of reading them. And this is what I love about this game. From what I see, it's relatively unchanged from the original Dragon Quest III. This is very much gameplay based. Your hand is on the controller with this one. And back when Dragon Quest III came out, Yuji Horii said that he has perfected, in his opinion, this traditional Dragon Quest formula. And I believe that, because god damn it, this is absolutely perfect. When it comes to sheer content, playability, having interesting things to do in a game, it is very traditional. Keep that in mind. It's like one of the first big main games in the JRPG genre, so expected to be very traditional when it comes to that, but I think it is absolutely perfection when it comes to that. Another game that's often regarded as one of the NES or Famicom's best JRPGs is Final Fantasy III, which I've played as the Pixel Remaster last year. And Dragon Quest III, of course, this is a lot more high budget, high profile remake of it. This game just kicks ass in so many more ways that Final Fantasy III just did not, and it did not click for me. And I quite enjoyed this game a lot more than Final Fantasy III, which came out way after Dragon Quest III. You have to keep in mind, when this game came out, Final Fantasy I basically just released. So they were around the first time, and Dragon Quest III just light years ahead of the first Final Fantasy, and in my opinion, even Final Fantasy III. This game, and this is what I love the most, is it just respects my time on the controller. I'm controlling, I'm walking around, I'm exploring, I'm doing stuff in the Dragon Quest world. The battles are actually pretty autopilot, so don't expect a deep combat system. It can get complicated at times. You can use strategy quite a few times in the game with bosses that will kick your butt. Well, not bosses so much, but more of like trash mobs in certain dungeons where you either have to grind or upgrade your party a little. This has the vocation system where you can just re-roll your characters. As you can see here, my main character, the hero, which you cannot re-roll, is almost level 100. And level 100 doesn't really mean anything because you can do like Ultima style, I think in Ultima. No, not in Ultima, like Wizardry. I think you could do this. I think they started, like you can re-roll your character or your stats get halved and you restart on level 1. Which sounds a lot more punishing than it actually is. It's a lot of fun to just grind your character to a higher level again. It is pretty quick. So I would definitely recommend re-rolling your characters quite a few times to level them up to the highest level and just do it again. That's so much fun. That's something I loved in the Etrian Odyssey games, for example. I enjoyed doing that there. It's just deep enough, it's not overcomplicated. A lot of modern RPGs, they like to overcomplicate the battle system, the party system, the item system, the leveling system, the party, like the vocation or job system. It's all just so overly complicated nowadays. This one is simple, like there's nothing to do but to grind it. If you're not into grinding, Dragon Quest definitely is not for you. Now, I love grinding, I quite enjoyed this, so it's an amazing ride. It doesn't feel like doing homework. I think that's what I like the most. There were a few times where I checked out a guide, just to check out on what level each character learns their skills. But otherwise, I didn't have to have an online guide next to me all the time, which is something I feel like doing in a lot of RPGs nowadays. I just went back to Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and I always get the feeling that game is like next to unplayable without online guides. At least some aspect, like building the skulls in that one, I couldn't imagine doing that without any online guide, trying to figure all of that stuff out myself. So this one, like you can play this without a guide. There's nothing hard about it. There's a harder difficulty. I switched to it quite a few times. But I played on the normal Dragon Quest difficulty and that was completely fine for me. And after finishing this game, I told you I did the post game, like I beat the dragon and so on, that you unlock after it. It was introduced in the Super Nintendo remake of the game. That there was a post-game dungeon and a secret hidden boss there. And I did that. I almost never do the post-game in long RPGs, and this one is a long RPG. When I first beat it, I think I was at around 45 hours or so. And then I put an extra 10 hours into the post-game. I almost never do that. And it was so much fun, like I wanted to keep going, but there was not much more to do that interested me. And I enjoyed, I loved this game so much that now I'm seriously considering doing a challenge run of it. I want to see how manageable a solo run is, because you can have your main character here and no other party members. I would like to check that out, and that would be pretty fun. And I assume once you know what you're doing in the game, you can get through it pretty quickly. I don't think a second playthrough would take me quite so long. There are a few missions where you have to do some riddles and puzzles in order to solve them. None of them too complicated. I never needed a guide for anything. I figured it out on my own. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I'm actually pretty proud of that nowadays. It's so easy to check a guide all the time. I made my way through Dragon Quest 3 HD2D Remaster, Remake, whatever it's called here. And I made my way through it all by myself. There's a little nice area over here. Look at that. The graphics are beautiful. I mean, you look at them, it is the Octopath Traveler engine, but this is by far, in my opinion, the best looking HD 2D game. A lot better looking than any of the Octopath Traveler games and so on. Running in 60 FPS on Switch 2, it is a game changer. It has a graphics mode where you can play in 4K in 30 FPS, but once you experience the 60, even though it's a turn-based game, like running through the overworld, it's just a game changer, I tell you. And this may be like one of the most perfect remakes I've ever played. There's next to nothing to complain about. This is an amazing game and an amazing remake, and it just feels fresh. Even nowadays, it does not feel like a, 40-year-old game now. Definitely not. It feels very fresh, very playable. I'm sure they streamlined quite a few things. They implemented quite a few quality of life changes and all of that. But overall, the game is intact, and it does not feel like it needs to be redone to its core in order to be playable and so on. Two things I would definitely change if I did this, and I know it's more of a Dragon Quest thing. You can see the battle speed up there. I have it on ultra fast. Now you can put it on like normal, and it is painfully slow. I mean, look at this. It's a one-hit kill, but it still takes multiple seconds to get through all the text. It's painfully slow. Even the ultra fast, I think that should just be the standard battle speed. Like maybe slow down the text a little bit, but also the walking speed. You see this? This is running. This is walking. This is normal walking speed. Now, I do not understand why you would walk anywhere in the game. Running is painfully slow enough. I would not like to walk anywhere. I mean, when you see the difference, walking, running, it's not that big of a difference. Like, this is normal walking speed, if you ask me. I do not even think walking should be a thing in this game. The running speed should be the standard. But I know Dragon Quest prides itself with being old school, basically wasting your time. But then why put in the faster speeds? But I understand this. I remember when I played Dragon Quest VII on the 3DS, right after finishing Etrian Odyssey 4, man, that was a step back when it comes to quality of life and not wasting your time. However, I still think like this is not wasting my time nearly as much as clicking through 45 minutes of text boxes in order to go through a 15-minute dungeon at the end of it. So it's all fine if you ask me. You can put on the fast speed. You can do walking as a standard without pushing down a button. You can put it into a mode where it's a toggle. Standard, I think it is you have to press down the B button in order to run all the time. You can change it in the options to do it a toggle, like you press it once and it's walking, press it once again and it's running. Yeah. Have you played Dragon Quest 3D HD2D Remaster or Dragon Quest 3 in any form before? If not, I'm very late to the party, I know this. Like, I should not be so enthusiastic about an old JRPG like this, but man, I am. If you feel in any way like pissed off at the modern video games, everything has to waste your time, like so much dialogue. The dialogue in this is very, very minimal. It's like straight to the point. It's very clever in what it tells you when, and I love it. I do not need to go through text boxes to understand my boring cookie cutter JRPG anime characters. I know the tropes. I see a character in Tokyo Xanadu, I know exactly what type of character that is. And the character development is not worth mentioning, even. It's the standard, oh, she is a loner and wants to do everything alone, but she learns to rely on her friends and accept help from her friends because the power of friendship makes a change. I don't need to go through 45 hours of text boxes in order to play a game for 10 hours in between. Sorry, I'm complaining again. And I know, apparently that is a controversial opinion. Tell me in the comments, is that a controversial opinion that I want to play my RPGs instead of reading them? Apparently that is. Like, people in my comments have complained about my take on especially Falcom wasting their time with pointless text boxes. Back to the game Dragon Quest 3. Have you played it? Have you enjoyed it? If not, I recommend this remaster. It's on PlayStation 5 as well. It's on basically everything, I think. It's almost never on sale, sadly. I got this for 40 euros a while ago on a sale. Usually it's still like full price, like 55, 56, 60 euros all the time. I would argue that's worth it. You'll have a blast with this game, and I hope I see you again in the next video where maybe we talk about more negative things again. No, let's hope not. Well, gaming is fun. Gaming is supposed to be fun. Dragon Quest 3, super fun. See you next time.